Hello guys and welcome to the channel. This is Paper Roll. So I've seen a post that titled on Reddit why 250 ping in Guild Wars 2 feel like 500, and it made me want to talk about this subject that I wanted to for a while but didn't come to, which is gaming limitation in general. It can be like your ping, your internet, your location, your hardware, physical impairment or disability, anything. And I wanted to talk about my own experience in order to help other people to find a way to navigate all their gaming experience without feeling frustrated or annoyed by whatever limitation that they subjugated to, or not feeling that they can't have fun anyway, and see what you can do about it. So for me in general, if you're not new to the channel, you probably know that my ping sucks. Like, it is probably the worst downside I have to my gaming experience. My internet is never really that stable. I can have a lot of days and a lot of time with my stable form of internet, and it can go up to 300 ping, and that is the normal, and can go as low as like 180 or something like that. But it can become very stable at this, and I would say this is fine. And this first fight was kind of example to the high end of it, which is closer to 300 ping rather than lower. And this video will be looking into different form of how high or bad my ping can get. None of the fight in this video will be exactly perfect, or what I call at least now it function. No, it will be a bad example. And my ping have almost 4 stats. It's either the kinda high one and not great, which is the stable, and it's what I wish the game would always be in, or the one you can see now with random freezes, extreme freezes, with the game start resetting everything. Or like go through all the information that passed very fast, or it can be normal and have random freezes in the middle, and can even go to a full DC. And the last one is very high, very unstable ping, can go up to 4K ping and stuff like that. And the game never really shows accurate ping. It takes time, especially the higher the ping or the more annoying it can become. Like worse, it can show you wrong numbers and stuff like that. And let's say that lately for about a month now my ping is becoming very bad, and I don't know why. Well, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Now this is about the ping, and this is probably the worst thing I have in my experience. But I also have some hardware limitation. For example, I play on a 15-inch laptop with a quite dark screen and not accurate colors, and it sits almost a meter away from me because I use an external keyboard. And I play on a 30 FPS actually, especially since ArenaNet started developing the DirectX 11. It became more tasking to my laptop, and I couldn't even create videos on 60 FPS, so I even created an intro of 30 FPS, and I started doing everything on 30 FPS. And my screen actually lowered to 48 Hertz, so I even very rarely played on 60 FPS in general. I spent my first 3 years in this game playing on a very old laptop that was able to get about like a potato. It was 4 to 6 FPS randomly, so it was very bad obviously, and was very limiting. And I used to even skill click, which made a lot of things very difficult to go around. So that for the hardware or gear limitation. Also, a lot of people know this about me, but I avoid melee builds because if you play like an action camera in general, like Guild Wars 2, and especially in Guild Wars 2, when you have a wide field of information that you need to keep switching your camera very fast to it, I get motion sickness. So what did I do to go around all those limitations in general? How could I play in them? I spent a lot of time finding my main, the thing that I wanted to play and loved it the most, and until I stumbled upon Droid, and I created my first bleeder or immobilized Droid, if you want to call it. And it was many years ago. It was after the release of Heart of Sauron, very shortly, like a couple of months or something like that. It was a very early version of it. I didn't have a YouTube channel yet. I was on my old laptop, but I created it back then. And Droid wasn't only fulfilling most of what I needed to play and have the fun experience that I want, it also was probably the most fun thing I've played in an MMO ever. It was just this enjoyable to me. I love the accurate, consistent numbers that condition can provide. I didn't enjoy how power can become a little bit of random at damage. I hate the fact that you can get to play one-shot builds or killing people out from stealth that didn't even react to you. That's not even a fight at this point. So everything about Druid just became very enjoyable and very usable to me, because I get to have a range build, I get to have a lot of healing and control how much I can avoid damage simply by gaining distance or lowering the amount of damage, and even if I take it, I can heal. So if you can notice now, I created a build that can help me not avoid damage, as everyone think it is a skillful way to play the game most of the time. Obviously you need to dodge stuff, you need to dodge CC, you need stuff like that. But I created all my builds, but in my mind, but what if I take it? I assume that I will take this hit, I will take this CC, and I will eat this condition. What can I do after? So it becomes a concept of heal, lower the hit before it actually happened, and also cleanse once you take condition. And all that I was able to put in my Druid. I can have a lot of cleanses, I can have protection and a lot of healing, I can create range to have a distance of actual survival. And it will help for most of the time. Obviously, if the game become completely unplayable or have really one of those bad days of being, there's not much you can do. I'll still play it, I'll still try, and I will still have my fun. Which get me to the second point also. I know ping and lag and stuff like that can become very frustrating if it wastes your time and you ended up spending a lot of fight defending a tower or stuff like that, and you ended up just dying. But try to have the most positive attitude about it. It is the way to go, or you're gonna be extremely frustrated all the time, feeling that you just can't play. If you can fix it, do it. If you can't, or if you don't feel it's worth it, like if you can't afford it, or don't feel like you have any fix for it, still enjoy the game, enjoy the win, enjoy the loss. Don't let this eat away at you. And my way to do that was probably making fun of it and making videos from time to time, even so I don't make much of it, because I don't think everyone would like to watch this much ping in one video. It's about time to talk about another problem we have in the game because of ping, like the Reddit post that was talking about. So in Guild Wars 2, it's a very instant game. You have a precast animation and then an aftercast to most things. It can be very short, very long. There's a lot of different things about different skills, and not every skill have this. Some skills even instant and stuff like that. So there is two ways of adapting to this. It's either you see the animation and you move to it, you dodge the attack and then apply yours, and you play very reactively, which is most of what you can do in Guild Wars 2, or you can play predictively, which what I do mostly. So you see me apply a projectile field, even so I don't see projectile yet because I know it will be coming. You see me dodge or create a distance because I know my enemy still have his burst out there. And as you can see here, my character keep turning every time it use Spear 3, for example. And that is a problem that I hope can be fixable in game design. Because if you have high ping in Guild Wars 2, if you move a movement skill, it will turn you and it will cut short distance, it will act slower than it intended. So in bad days, like the one you see right here, all my skills perform very badly and not accurately. I am late to dodge, and every time I try to gain distance, I can't even create the accurate distance, and my character keep stopping at midpoint. Even Staff 3, Greatsword 3, they can stop at locations, they can even don't travel you at all. So these things ArenaNet can fix only through development. And you will see also another section in this video, a fight against Mesmer. And this is a problem that started mainly with End of Dragon, which is Arena trying to make the game more fast-paced, which means they are lowering a lot of aftercast animations and stuff like that, which can lock people before they actually finish and move from a skill to another, and making things pretty fast can become a problem to a player with high ping. And one of the worst classes for this is Virtuoso, for example, because Virtuoso, I can't see much of his animation inside the game. In fact, if you watched some of the very good PvP players and stuff like that, you would notice that some parts of the animation wouldn't show for a player like me. Even in the video, like what I see in the game is worse than you can actually see in the video. But however, it just already worse at this. So when Virtuoso use its shatter skills, those projectiles I can never time with them because the ping is not stable even at 200 or something like that. It can actually go up and down. So it can become a serious problem when you're trying to time your dodges well against an insane burst like that. And like I said, Mesmer can become one of those problems. I can see some of the stuff they do. And as you see here, my skill 3 froze me completely in location, didn't move at all, and I have insane ping that the game can't see. So this is also something fixable by design if ArenaNet stopped trying to make the game so fast. Yes, insane ping like this, 2k spikes and stuff like that is not their fault obviously, but at least we need to have an acceptable precast and aftercast animation so we can adapt to things at least better. And as you see, these are back-to-back fights, and this was a random spike, so it will move now and we will fight a little bit in a high ping, like my ping was 4 to 500 at this fight, so I can't adapt to what they do, so I'll try to avoid the damage from the thief, preventing him from stealing and stuff like that, trying to adapt to the situation. Don't simply assume that there's nothing you can do. The worst case scenario, you will lose the fight. That's about it. Guild Wars 2 will have no punishment for losing, you don't lose experience, it's not a PvP server or anything like that. So try to enjoy the game, even so with everything that can happen in it. So let's summarize what kind of advice did I want to give in this video. So basically, find a build that suits your needs and your liking, not only one of them if possible. Try not to give up on the fight or in the game simply because there is some limitation to it. The fight will not be fair. Yes, you will lose fights you could win and you will struggle more than other people in simple things like timing your skills or defending something or even in 1v1 sometimes. But it's okay. Try to still find the joy in it. From the fun, from the memes, I don't know, from the loss. Just have your fun as much as you can. And whatever limitation you have, and even if you have a disability or something like that, find a build that suits it. A high accessibility build or LI builds, people call them, do exist and they are everywhere. It doesn't have to be me who made them. I created builds that help with what I needed. So if you're like me, if you have, for example, motion sickness, this will be good for you. But if you don't, if you need still lower chances to play or to lower actions per second in general, there's other options. You can play Power Mechanist, for example. It's quite easy. You can play Minion Mancer if you play with other people. There is stuff you can do. It doesn't have to be the most intensive thing to play. It doesn't have to be Thief or Weaver or Mesmer. No, find what suits you. And lastly is something I hope ArenaNet will look into, which is how ping affect skills and how they can adjust it, especially like for movement skills in the game and stuff like that. And not lower the aftercast and precast too much in order we be able to still react to the game. The game is keep getting faster too much, and with lower ping it can be quite the problem to many players. So tell me what you think in the comments, and I hope you enjoy this fight. I will leave you with a very, very good tool with an incredibly good Virtuoso to show you an example of how bad ping can get and how much you can adapt to it, or how you try to survive in completely different situation or different ping level of fight against the same player back to back. So that's it for the video. Enjoy the rest and tell me what you think in the comment, and I'll be seeing you next time. Peace.
reach to your heart. Auroras, mists and echoes dance in the solitude.